and this is the Perfect Timing Podcast, baby. So today what we have is another great let us know in the comment section what you think of the video, the content, the audio, and the visual presentation. Any commentary or critique is much welcome. We're making our YouTube journey, and we want you to journey and climb along with us. Again, thank you for joining and watching the Perfect Timing Podcast. Research with Fani Willis, we heard about the Donald Trump RICO case. So we started investigating into Fani Willis a little bit deeper, and what we saw is a prosecution style commentary. Uh, we've heard a lot alluded to Nathan Wade, Fani Willis's lover, not having the experience to prosecute a federal a RICO case. He's never done criminal cases before, but now what we're hearing coming out as it pertains to Fani Willis is her actual experience in the courtroom. And that's evident because, like, the fact that Fani Willis actually worked for the Atlanta DA before. And she wasn't the DA, but she worked under the Atlanta DA, who was a brother, and they prosecuted 30 black women under the Atlanta Public Schools RICO case, and they convicted him. This Atlanta Public Schools RICO case was the most expensive court case in Atlanta history. And what I found when I did my research, and then Donald Trump did his research, is that Fani Willis has always had interconnections to the Atlanta DA office, connections to the Democratic Party, and connections to street gangs. Because when Fani Willis left the Atlanta DA's office, she represented the co-founder of YSL Mondo, and got him exonerated from his charges, which is why you see the complexities in the YSL RICO, and you don't see again Fani Willis in the courtroom. The critique why now she's facing questions. I've said to you that there's a code of ethics associated with being a district attorney, a lawyer, and a judge, because you have to be impartial, and the public has to believe that you can be fair and balanced. It's perfect. Why is this relevant to the Donald Trump case? Well, please, I'm going to repeat what I just said. It's relevant to the Donald Trump RICO prosecution because to be a lawyer and a judge since 1961, you are held to something called a code of ethics. And that refers to your character and credibility and believability by the public. Number one, you can't be someone who breaks the law, drinks alcohol publicly, is a drunkard, does drugs, which illegal drugs, or sleeps with married people behind a married person's back, because everyone can agree that is unethical. Whether or not Nathan Wade says that him and his wife were separated in 2015, the fact of the matter remains that Nathan Wade was still married when he had the affair with Fani Willis, which is questionable to his character. And check out this video right here.
Cell phone data obtained by Trump's legal team shows Nathan Wade, that special prosecutor, visited Willis's neighborhood at least 35 times in the 11 months before Willis hired him in late 2021. Twice, Wade arrived late at night and left early the following morning. The data shows about 2,000 calls and 12,000 text messages between Wade and Willis from January to November 2021. Why this matters, the timeline is everything in this case. Joining me now on the phone is...
So again, ladies and gentlemen, groundbreaking information right now. Over 2,000 calls. They have pinpointed the location of the call with the cell phone towers, and they know the location of the phone, and they know the amount of times. One more time.
Calls and 12,000 text messages between twice. Wade arrived late at night and left early the following morning. The data shows about 2,000 calls and 12,000 text messages.
2,000 calls, write down it in the notes, and 12,000 text messages. This is the truth, and they knew this when they were being cross-examined, and they lied under oath. This is getting sticky.
Between Wade and Willis from January to November 2021. Why this matters, the timeline is everything in this case. Joining me now on the phone is former Assistant District Attorney of Fulton County, Daryl Cohen. Daryl, thanks for joining us. We sat and watched as this hearing originally started. What do you make of these new revelations?
This is damning. At the very best, it's troubling. It seems to completely contradict the testimony of both Fani Willis and of Nathan Wade. And because of that, this could be a complete game changer in terms of how Judge McAfee decides to rule.
The timeline here, the timeline is extremely important. Get viewers up to speed about why this timeline matters.
Well, it matters because the testimony has been that Fani Willis and Nathan Wade became friends. They met at a conference, and he was hired before any of this took place, and that they did not have any type of relationship other than completely a business relationship. Now, if these texts and if these pings on the telephone are accurate, that changes the entire ball game and means that there could be some untruth that's been told under oath. In other words, it could be perjury, and I hope it isn't, because this is very sad.
Yeah, I mean, at the heart.
You heard it here, folks. You heard it here first. You heard it here. This is Fulton County, former Fulton County District Attorney on the phone, basically saying that these cell phone records could mean perjury for the Atlanta DA and Nathan Wade. Let's continue to listen.
Entire office gets removed from this case. What happens next?
Then it goes to the prosecutor's counsel, and they locate a district attorney's office who is capable and willing of prosecuting the case. That could be near impossible. Clayton County District Attorney has already said she cannot handle it. That leaves DeKalb County, Cobb County, and that's about it, because it has to be a large office that has the ability and the people to prosecute it, and the budget, because the budget's going to just explode with this type of case.
So you're saying it could get thrown out altogether?
I'm not saying that, but it could.
So first time again, it's a lot of first times here tonight, folks. First time you're hearing from Fulton County District Attorney. He's not willing to go on record saying, but he did say what would happen if Fani Willis and Nathan Wade are removed from the case. What would happen is it would bounce around to the next county with the ability financially and staff and logistically to be able to handle the case. But Macon County has already said on the record that they refuse to take the case. That leaves the Cobb County and one other county that could possibly take the case, but haven't said yes or no. Then that leaves the potential, if no other Atlanta County with logistically, financially ability to prosecute, there's a possibility that the case goes away. We're not going.
I think some of us, when affairs of the heart get in the way of affairs of the mind, we don't believe that we're visible. We think we're invisible and invincible. And I like Fani very much, but I am so disappointed in what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing. And we'll just have to wait and see how it plays out. But every day is a new revelation, some good, some bad, depending on which side you're looking at. But it doesn't change the facts in the Trump case. It does change who may or may not prosecute it, whether it will or will not be prosecuted, whether or not it will delay the prosecution.
Now, remember, folks, I said when I was analyzing Fani Willis, a lot of people have said, why does she even take the stand? If you've seen Judge Joe Brown recent interviews, he said she didn't have to take the stand. And I said, basically, and I was embarrassed. A lot of people were embarrassed by her testimony and by her behavior and actions in the courtroom. And what I said to my audience and to colleagues, I said, a lot of times we act like people do not see us. I believe that the former Fulton County DA was being kind when he said affairs of the heart. He said when dealing with affairs of the heart, it's at times when we act like we are unseen, invincible. And so we do things to get us in trouble. And I said, It's a certain community, I feel like, who acts like they're invincible and unseen. Let's continue with the video.
Fani is
The lawyer, this is just completely embarrassing. Let's keep going. Personal podcast with the blast in the ass. Fani Willis,
where the Fulton County DA was living. They say, they go as far as alleging that Wade stayed overnight at her condo back in 2021. But the pair says the romantic relationship began in early 2022 after she'd brought him onto the Trump case. The new data seems to contradict what both Wade and Willis testified to under oath.
So if phone records were to reflect that you were making phone calls from the same location as the condo before November 1st of 2021, and it was on multiple occasions, the phone records would be wrong?
If phone records reflected that, yes, sir.
They'd be wrong.
They'd be wrong.
Okay. Did anyone else stay with you at the Yerty condo, including Miss Yerty?
Never. This was a very lonely period in my life. I don't think anyone ever spent the night.
Judge, you're not buying it over there. But listen, just because he was there doesn't mean, how can I say this for
that he slept with her?
That there was boot knocking going on.
Okay, let me explain one thing. I want you to think about this. He gets to her house at 3:30 in the morning, right?
Uh-oh.
No, he gets to her house at 10:45 at night.
Okay.
He leaves at 3:30 in the morning. He gets to his house at 4, goes back home at 4, and then texts her at about 5 minutes after 4. Now, I don't think they're texting about a case. He's telling her what a great night he had. Look, here's the bottom line. This case just blew up. Fani Willis not only has the appearance of impropriety, not only an actual conflict, Fani Willis perjured herself.
Yep.
Her boyfriend perjured himself. They lied under oath. Each of them said they didn't have a relationship until
Fani Willis perjured herself. Fani Willis lied under oath. That's what this is coming out right now due to cell phone records. Let me get this fair use right here. Fair use is in full effect. Fani Lewis and perjured herself. Let's get back to the 5. Stay alive 5.0, 5.0.
2022. Now, Robin Yater, whatever the name is, she said, no, it started in 2019. I saw them. They were hugging. They were kissing. And you know what? She ain't a great DA. I never thought she was that smart. She doesn't know how to conduct herself in a courtroom, clearly. But this woman is so dumb, she doesn't even realize that cell phone analytics can identify the exact location of your phone, not the area, but the exact location based upon the cell tower. That's how we
Get her.
prove crimes. We've been doing it for years, Fani. And here.
That's how we prove crimes. We've been doing it for years, Fani. Woo!
Here's the thing. In 2021, before they hooked up, they texted each other more than 1,000 times a month, but they weren't boot knocking. And they called each other more than 2,000 times a month.
2,000.
More to the point. Then he's going to her house. He's sleeping there.
What
She's leaving, going home at least 2 nights. She calls her friend Robin a liar. Look, this man has no experience as a felony prosecutor or with RICO. She has no experience in a courtroom. The two of them are ridiculous. She was able to fund a lavish lifestyle that she took part of with this stupid claim. I paid him back in cash. That itself is incredulous. The only question now is whether or not the judge is going to have the chutzpah to call it for what it is. And this is perjury. The bottom line is Wade got paid, Willis got laid, and the taxpayers got played. That's the way it is.
I thought maybe you were going to say spade. But no. But,
all right.
Okay, so Jesse, can you text someone thousands of times? Be close friends, be talking about business.
The bottom line is Wade got paid, Fani got laid, and the taxpayers got played. Is that how? Come on, y'all. Fani got laid, Wade got paid, and the taxpayers got played. But we not done yet. Fani, it's just piling on. So we're not done. So that's just the latest development in the Fani Willis Trump week. We compromised herself with dating a married man. And in compromising herself, she has and then compromised the office. It's a long time since you've heard terminology like that. But by compromising the office, what you then do is allow yourself to be open for vultures who want to take you out of office, which is a political office. So now they start digging and researching anything and everything you could have done wrong, because now you're vulnerable. You're in a compromised position. Now she may cry wolf and say, why are people attacking me? I did nothing wrong. And people like me, intelligent people, will say, no, Fani Willis, by sleeping with a married man, you compromised yourself, you compromised the office, and you put the vultures in your sight. So now let's take a listen to what's going on when Perfect is saying whistleblower in the DA office, leaked audio, misappropriation of funds. Let's get the details, fair use and full effect.
Be with this whistleblower and say that she'd look into it. Yet a little less than 2 months later, the staffer who raised the concerns was fired. Let's take a listen to that audio.
He told everybody in front of Crystal, Deontay, everybody, we're going to get MacBooks, we're going to do that, we're going to get swag, we're going to use it for travel. I said, you cannot do that. It's a very, very specific grant. Took me off. I questioned Junior DA. There's kids in there from out of the county, all this. Took me off Junior DA. I did not want to do it. He made it look as if I wasn't doing what I needed to do because I questioned him. Because I knew for a fact Mr. Cuffey respectfully did not know what he was doing, period.
So I respect that is your assessment. It was clear to me that you and Mr. Cuffey were not getting along. And I'm not saying that your assessment is wrong. I want you to really listen to the words I'm saying.
And there was definitely certain elements that we had to have. You know, we have the garbage out here. We have a burner. We have 2 types of barbecues.
We back to it. They don't want me to.
Cuffey, and this is my personal opinion, to one woman to another is dangerous to your administration.
Yeah. So the implication here is that this whistleblower came forward about another employee who wanted to misuse grant funds. And after coming forward in that kind of, you know, nervous, heated, excited way that we just heard, she was the one that was ultimately fired. Now,
Connect the dots with this whistleblower with the other case I told you about with the subpoena from Congress and whether or not Fani Willis had replied to that subpoena. Well, now I have an update for you on whether or not she replied to the subpoena and connect the dots with the whistleblower. This is Jim Jordan, representative of Ohio, conservative at the CPAC, and he's speaking on his subpoena that he subpoenaed Fani Willis. Again, not so much about her code of ethics, but I'll tell you the code of ethics and compromising the office is what gave him the vision to go after her. And now he has real evidence to go after her and have her removed based on the whistleblower and based on the misappropriation of the funds that took place in the office as it pertains to that grant. And again, it's sad because the grant, if you heard it, was about inner city gangs. So this is a Black woman, Black office, Black DA getting money to help Black inner city kids and misappropriating the funds. And this is par for the course when we talking about Fani Willis, district attorney. Let's see what Jim Jordan has to say about his subpoena. And again, he subpoenaed her to the Congress for misappropriation of funds.
Subpoena, not yet. I just talked to her
Wait, is she
staff.
supposed to get back to you today?
Yeah, she's supposed to get documents.
Well,
to
did
us.
you hear from her boyfriend?
We haven't. So I was talking about this in the office, and I said Fani Wade, and it was like a Freudian slip, you know, like Fani Willis and Nathan Wade. So no, we haven't heard back from her yet. We'll see what we get from her. But there's a whistleblower in her office who we have talked to, the committee staff. Yeah, and she, the whistleblower, I think she's like 4'11", but Fani Willis had 7 police escort her out when she fired this lady, because this lady raised the concern that Miss Willis was not spending federal funds and not following the grant, the rules of the grant and the grant dollars in the appropriate manner. So she raised this concern, and then Fani Willis fired her. She's now talking with our office, and we'll see where that goes. And that's why we subpoenaed for records and documents related to this. we'll see what we get. There's still a few hours left in today. She also was interesting. She, instead of accepting service on the subpoena, she made us send the U.S. Marshals. Even though our office had talked with her office, we've had correspondence back and forth. She made the U.S. Marshals take the subpoena there. So go figure. This is Fani Willis, and we all saw her. I think her attitude on display when she took the
I thought
stand
it was
a few weeks ago.
I thought it was a skit, but I think it actually was real life.
It was real.
You know, we sent out a tweet that said we didn't invite Fani Willis to CPAC.
And excuse me, Fani Willis, whistleblower in the district attorney office. We got the leaked audio. We got cell phone records proving that Nathan Wade and Fani Willis had an intimate romantic relationship before she hired him and paid him the money, proving that they lied on the stand. This is only going to get more complex as we move forward. We also gave you the Fulton County former district attorney who laid out a pathway to a possibility where this case is thrown out, because what we're learning now is that when and if Fani and Nathan are removed from the case, the only option is for the case to go to other sizable counties within Atlanta, Georgia, and that only leaves two options. And at this time, the former Fulton DA doesn't see it possible that this case goes to another county. So you guys stay tuned. We're going to be watching this Fani Willis expose. We're going to be watching this Fani Willis episode bit by bit, bullet point by bullet point. I'll bring it to you like I always have. My name is Perfect. This is the Perfect Timing Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Y'all have a good day. Make sure y'all hit the like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment on your way out. Thank you so much. Be blessed.